Hello, everyone. As ACCA has released its pre-seen document for SBL for the session September 2025, we are going to analyze it in detail for our students globally. My name is Muhammad Rizwan, and I'll be your guide for this session today. We are going to have a detailed discussion on the pre-scene that has been released. This is about an organization which prepares ready meal kits. And first of all, we will look into the industry which is operating in the country of Ireland, in which this menu craft, our focus organization, is working in. We will have a detailed analysis of the industry, and this time we have a rather greater uh, data and information available for the industry, and we will dig into that. After that, we will be discussing the specific organization, that is Menucraft, in detail. So let's get started with it. First of all, we are digging into the industry analysis, the meal kit industry. First, the demographics and the overall analysis of the country, Ireland, so that we have a basic context of the environment that the organization Menucraft is operating in. Uh, this country has a population of nearly 40 million, and this is a well developed economy. This gives us an advantage for our organization, which later on we will look into that. Why is it helping in the meal kit industry? Nearly 75% of its population lives and works in the urban areas. Yet another area, yet another positive sign for us to understand why the meal kits will be a popular product in this type of a situation. Okay, now this meal kits that people are providing, the businesses are providing, we are not the only one. Menucraft is not the only one. Meal kits are especially popular with young professionals. This is our core focus area, and families. Even and in young professional areas, later on we will study that we have singles and couples, and with that families as well, and we will analyze how the situation over the years has been changing in these two segments of the market. Okay, this is the main area they are focusing on, because due to the busy lifestyle, and that you can link it up with the urban areas, and the desire of nutritious home material, this goes to their social trends and social concerns, that even though they have a busy schedule, busy lifestyle, because most of them are working, whether that be youngs, whether that be families, but still they have a desire to have nutritious home cooked meals rather than ready made or fast food, which is readily available, even cheaper, but still it is not very nutritious. So this trend is also very helpful, and we will see that this trend is seen in our pre-scene, that this is a global trend. Now, what is a meal kit? First, we have to understand the product that we are selling, because there will be a similar substitute and we need to differentiate between the two. A meal kit service provides convenient and time-saving solution for cooking healthy homemade meals. Now, healthy and homemade, these are two focal areas. What happens is that the customer receives a pre-proportionate ingredients, the proportions of every ingredient that is to be cooked, yet to be cooked. That is the main idea. Excuse me. These are not the ready made meals like heat and eat meals that we will look into later on, which will be a competition. These are not ready meals, still they have to cook it, but the plus point is that these are much more nutritious. Why is the pre-proportioned area important? Because there is least wastage, and they have the convenience. These are again the two important areas: least wastage, that goes to sustainability, and uh, least amount of time measuring and analyzing and creating recipes, and again with that step by step recipes also provided, and these are delivered directly to customer homes. This is the basic idea of the product that the consumer is receiving. How do they approach the businesses? General idea is that most of the businesses operate on subscription basis, in which the customers have to visit their website or through mobile app, and that later on will help us in using our um, data analytics to understand and provide for our customers better. A typical meal kit box would include chilled produce, which would include meat, dairy, fish with ice packs, and this is also very important area, and lifelong produce, which is tinned rice or pasta, fresh or short life produce, which are quickly perishable, that will be fruits and vegetables, and a recipe card, a very important area because this is one of the key drivers in the growth of the industry. Now, if we compare the data provided in the segment in the pre-scene, this is for the industry, and this data, the second data, is for our concerned organization, that is Manucraft. It shows an overall market growth, and this growth is actually, even though the data is for the country island, but this can be reflected in the global growth and demand for this product. But the problem is that the relative growth of MC lacks in the same pace. The growth rate, and later on we will see, which will be our point of concern, that even though their revenues would be increasing, the growth rates of revenues and everything is going down basically. And even if we look at the market share and the customer growth rate and the customer numbers, the proportion that this organization has is nearly 24 or 25%, not more than that, which is a point of concern because this organization, we will see, is has the first movers advantage in this country island, and its main competitor Freshie came later on. So that is a point of concern. Okay, now what are the key drivers of growth in the meal kit market? Convenience, number one, because it eliminates the need for customers to plan and importantly to shop. They get the items delivered at their home address, and then they can easily cook it. The ingredients are already pre-proportioned. They don't have to measure everything. They selected a particular recipe and then they're getting whatever is needed. They just have to follow the steps provided in the recipe, and the meal is ready. Importantly, they two things: so time for cooking, as well as they do not have to go shopping. That time is also saved. Okay, everything is provided to them at their doorsteps. Quality, because this VLC is a very competitive market, so customers will always expect fresh, high quality ingredients. If there is a lagging in that, and that will be linked to our later discussion of choosing our supply chain, the our vendors, which is very very important. Okay, this can be achieved through local farmers and suppliers, and for that we will have to have a higher standards of quality. Okay, menu and variety are also very important. These are the drivers. Drive Diverse menu selection. For example, we would have vegetarian, vegan, gluten free, and low fat carb. These are all basic ideas of the uh, basic varieties of the recipes available for purchase. Okay, cost effectiveness, business must balance value money with price point. Now this is going to be a very important key area for our organization. At one end we will see that we have to be reasonably priced because of a lot of competition, but when we see Manucraft, we will see that it is trying to focus on a differentiation strategy, and it is trying to buy high end products and have IT involved and creating a uh, premium experience for their customers. At the same time, having competition in the market, we will see that it will be very difficult for them to maintain this strategy, and which in turn will be showing in their decline. Loyalty is maintained if the meal kits are perceived as cost effective. A very important area which will go against this provides a uh, pointer to you for exam, from exam point of view, that a cost effective strategy, that is cost leadership would be suitable in this market. But we will see that MC is focusing on the diversification. So you may be asked to how to bridge the gap in the paper. This limits customer food waste by providing pre-measured ingredients, and that is one of the key point, not only from customers' point of view but from the organization's point of view as well, because the wastages are reduced. Hence, that can affect on their cost measures. Okay. The overall subscription process that is generally utilized in the industry has three stages. In the first stage, they set up their account just like an email account. They give their personal details, address, and payment details, and start their account with either a website or a mobile app. Then they select their subscription preferences, the frequency, how many times a week, 2 weeks, or per month will be the delivery will be made. They select their kit proportion size, a portion size that is either for one person, two people, or four people, and the preferences whether they would want a meat based product, vegetarian product, non dairy or gluten free, and the meal kit recipes which are delivered along with the uh, with the uh, with the kit. Okay. Now, at the final step, this is the confirmation or cancellation order. This could be of a concern that once a person has subscribed for it, what is the payment procedure? That is not mentioned over here. The problem is that at least 48 hours before the required delivery date. And why is this 48 hours important? We will see that preparation of the kit requires 3 hours time, and with that involved in the logistics and everything, 48 hours even though is a suitable time. But the problem is that they have to either confirm meal kit delivery selection and or confirm required date, delivery date, or cancel the or suspend the delivery. This could be of a concern. Now, this could be looked into, like if they cancel it 48 hours before, uh, we would have already made the purchases. And provided that we have a lot of customers, maybe that will not go in vain, but that will not be wasted. But the other thing, 48 hours before, you still have to get the confirmation. This could be of a concern. Why not to have a regular delivery scheduled, and the customer is informed at the time of making subscription, or monthly based subscription updates, that is whether they want to change it, or personalized changing of the updates of the delivery dates and all. Like every time when they receive a notification, I, for example, as a customer, would feel annoyed that if I'm asked again and again, for example, I have asked one per week, and every 48 every 2 days I receive a 2 days before I receive a confirmation. Maybe I'm busy, maybe I'm in a meeting, and every time I receive that, that could be a cause of concern. Okay. Now, the overall, what how is it beneficial? It gives convenience and date time saving for the customer. They don't have to go anywhere. A very important area is for the organization. This gives us data collection and insights on consumer habits, how much of which customers are uh, 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 wanting the product. And later on we will see that customer attraction and retention, because when the customer gives reviews on the website and on the mobile app, that also tells us about the customer habits and which recipes and which flavors and which type of food that they like more, or they like less. So we can adjust our demand becomes predictable, and we can adjust our operational planning according to that. And that also gives us flexibility and customization for the customer, as there is a variety available to them. And this data collection and insights help us. Okay, this is a repetition. This gives us insights on the customer habits. Now, what is the overall competitive landscape and challenges in Ireland? There are many competitors. For example, from this angle, you can see that Freshie is the market leader. This is a global provider. Manucraft is in this country the second one. So these collectively hold the market. The Food Dropper is on 17%, iMeals is on 13%. But this others is a cause of concern for our organization. Why is that? You see, Freshie is a global brand entered into Ireland market within 1 year of MC's establishment. So they are not very much behind. But the point of concern is that they are very strong and persistent, and these are a continuous competitive threat because they are well resourced international player. So you are basically, even though you have the first movers advantage, but still you are competing with an international giant which is operating world over and others. This represents numerous smaller niche or regional players, suggesting that even if this is a core point for you to understand, that even if captures the market share from direct competitors, that is, say, food dropper and iMeals and some from the Freshie as well, excuse me, it still faces an evolving landscape of smaller and agile entrants. What could those be? Those could be any of the smaller ones which may be very aggressive in their local strategy and that may be taking some of the local customers from Menucraft. Industry has a tough competition, intense competition. We also have threats from heat and eat meals. These are fully prepared options. Now, those who are busy professionals and time is of essence for them, and even though they would want to have nutritious food, which can be covered to an extent in the heat and eat meals, but the basic idea is that you just have to heat it up in boiling water or in the microwave and they are ready to eat within 5 to 10 minutes maybe. But for the meal kits, they will have to prepare it and the time may range for cooking from half an hour to maybe 1 hour, depends on the recipe. So this is of a real annoyance for the or a real threat for all the organizations in this meal kit market. Okay, another important point is that the supermarkets are now also offering their own meal kits, and these are available not only in stores but also online, and they are increasing direct competition for the uh, main competitors which are only offering through websites and mobile apps. No physical locations are available. Now, considering the customer retention, this is a lot of challenge because attracting new customer has been relatively easy due to widespread marketing and social media. So attraction of new customer is easy, but that is easy for everybody, meaning those who have better approach and better use of social media and marketing, they will attract the customers and they can increase their market share. However, customer retention, so attracting customer is not a challenge in this industry. However, retention is difficult for most businesses and it leads to high churn. Now, less than 25 of the subscription lasts for more than 6 months. This is an important pointer that you need to remember, that even if you attract the customers, you may not retain them over 6 months, and this will be a point of concern. The reasons could include the customer, they are switching to new consumer discounts, because we've seen earlier that market competitiveness is directly based on the cost effectiveness, and people, because there are a number of competitors available, the power of the buyers is multifold. They can choose anyone who tries to raise the price. They have the other competitors which are providing equally good food and nutritious and healthy and fresh food, so they can focus on them. Now, another important area, because we are not providing physical stores, so logistic complexities and food safety regulations are also of a concern. That could be moved to the legal area in your pest analysis. Okay, logistic challenge are, we have the need for wide variety of meal kits and delivery options. Requirement of fresher ingredients necessitates partnering with hundreds different suppliers, because if you focus on one or two, you may not be able to uh, provide your customers with the fresh and healthiest items. This is very important, and significant investment is needed in the supplier management information system, so that you have continuous ongoing evaluation of your suppliers, and you will have to decline the services from the suppliers which are not providing you fresh quality. And because we will see later on, for our organization there will be about 600 suppliers, so it is very difficult to manage all the data and analyze all the data physically. So it is very important to have our hands on IT equipment and the data analytics softwares, a key concern here. Complex coordination for customer deliveries. On the other hand, when you are your outbound logistics, they also require good coordination, because and you need logistics software so that you can have a tap on. For example, the customer would have updates on the delivery item, when it will be made, where has it reached, and all. Second is the food and safety regulatory scrutiny. Meal kits, they, because they contain perishable foods, uh, which are susceptible to cross contamination and bacterial growth. If they are, you see, this is a point of concern. We will, when we will talk about the production process of menu craft, we will see that even though they have a good production planning, they will be using robotics and they will be using human interference as well. But the point of concern here is that if these perishable items, meat and fish especially, and to an extent dairy products, they are frozen. When they are used, when they are being packed in the meal kits, they, if they remain outside the refrigerated area, frozen area, for a longer time, which will be around 3 hours, we will see, that is a point of concern, because frozen foods, when thawed and then re froze, or even refrigerated, there is still a possibility of contamination, or there is still a possibility that the bacteria that were in frozen form, that may start to repopulate and contaminate the whole package. That is a point of concern. Okay, these kits have been linked to outbreaks, illness, and food poisoning. This has been a global concern, because you see, the perishable items are there, and especially the meaty products are there. They have high susceptibility for bacterial infections. Food Standard Regulatory Authority, AFSA, they have this one, Island Foods and Agency. They are increasing their focus. We will see that they have a rigorous practice of analyzing the all the workings, all the operations of the meal kit providers, and the continued functionality of these meal kit providers is dependent on the certification from AFSA. Okay, what are the industry innovations? People are using robotics to help pack the product and do that effectively and quickly, saving time. And you see, when we use robotics, the cost effectiveness becomes a challenge, because this part will be capital intensive and we need to invest heavily in the capital. Data analytics also is a very important area, which it is used to predict recipe demand and thus supply. It identifies best and worst performing recipes from customer feedback, and based on this you can continuously develop your recipes as well as update your procurement team. Then new delivery partnerships, they are exploring new unique collaboration to attract customers, including selling in supermarket and partnering with celebrity chefs, a very important area that goes to the PRs and sponsorships. Now, uh, understanding that your organizations are lacking the physical selection for the customers, and there will be a big chunk of market that are focusing on that area. So if you are losing on that, you are losing on a big chunk of the market. So this is a possibility that if some supermarkets are not providing or making their own, and that will be a threat, because they will not allow your products to be launched over there, because they are providing their own. They are direct competitors. So that could be a problem for you. Then KPIs in this industry are the revenue, of course, the total money from meal kits, active customers, meals that are delivered, orders per customer, and average order value. Two very, very important things. Even if a customer is ordering once a month, but the average order value is way high, that is a potentially higher value customer to you. Food waste is also a KPI, and we will see that with careful planning and data analytics, support of data analytics here, we are able to reduce the food wastage. And for me, menu craft, we'll see that is even below 1%. And carbon emission, these goes to our sustainability and our social and environmental responsibility area. Okay. Now, this was about the overall industry. Now we are going to discuss the specific organization, Manucraft. First of all, a little bit about their mission, vision, and values. Now, the mission statement is a little bit alarming: to make healthy home cooking simple, affordable, and accessible to everyone, whatever their level of cooking skills. A good point, as you give step by step recipes, but affordability is of a concern. We will see that we are trying to provide affordable ones, but our concerns, our strategy are towards uh, premium goods. That is a gap which you may be asked to bridge during the examination. Okay. Now, the vision is to promote healthy and sustainable food choices so that our customers and the communities we serve can live healthier life in the healthier world. It shows a little bit plan of going global because it can be linked with the global demand of the meal kits. But we will see that our organization is not doing very well in the local market, even though it is one of the second largest one. But still, over the years, the performance is declining. So this could be of a concern. We could not link our vision to our actual performances. What value or commitments Menucraft is offering, promoting healthy and convenient food choices. So choices are given, supporting island food producers in growing market, high quality ingredients. So this actually tells us that we are focused on local ingredients, and we will see that they are actually focusing on local recipes as well, which are very, because people of Ireland are very attached to their local traditions and local recipes. Okay. Making positive environmental decisions throughout our value chain. Positive environmental decisions, we will see that these are focused when we use our data analytics. It helps us minimize our wastages, and that helps us protecting the environment. Promoting sustainability for long-term stakeholder benefit through ESG focus, planet, people, and governance. That could be seen, but that actually is adding up to our costs. Demonstrating responsible leadership. We'll talk about the overall structure and who started the organization and how is it impacting the culture of the organization. Then ensuring highest ethical standards, honesty, respect, and accountability. For that, we will have to look into our corporate structure, whether these values are being met somehow or not. What is the background of and the strategic position? It was founded 15 years ago by two local chefs, and because of these local chefs, they are uh, focusing on the local taste of the people, local recipes that people like the most. Initial funding, it came from Ireland's venture capitalist, and we will see later on that these two chefs have about 10% of the share, and majority of the shares are held by these venture capitalists. Significant growth in customer numbers in the last decade, driven by Ireland's urban population and increased internet usage. Okay, uh, the problem here we will find that even though our customer number is increasing, but the rate of growth is not increasing. That is of a concern, even though the market is growing. Okay, MC is now the second largest meal kit business in Ireland based on customer number and revenue. Seems like a good thing, but actually it is a point of concern. We were there first. Why? And we were local. We had the opportunity to grab the market quite well, rather than another uh, outsider comes in, freshy, and that takes the market leading position from us. This is a point of concern. What is the strategic position? We are established as a high quality meal kit business. Okay, this gives us a little bit of advantage, but differentiates by focusing island based recipes, using locally sourced ingredients wherever possible. This is a point here. This is the a point that you are going to explain to your customers, that this is why we are offering differentiated products. This is our unique selling point or unique selling proposition. Leverages founders local knowledge and islands high quality local produce. So two factors are positive here, which could be in the strengths, that the chefs are local chefs and they know what they're doing, as well as they have the availability of local produce. This gives us some of the cost advantage, that it employs talented qualified chefs to design up to 30 weekly recipes using seasonal ingredients and customer preference data. Now this data is again from the algorithms that it uses and seasonal ingredients which are locally available. It maintains a strong competitive position despite Fresh's international brand recognition. Okay, from that point that it is competing with a global giant or a global competitor at least, it has maintained its second position, but it is still the second. And if we see the market share data, it's not very much ahead of the third one. So it is again a point of concern. Boasts one of the highest customer retention rates in the industry. This is, we have to look into it when we go to the final slides and we analyze the given charts and graphs. What is the customer retention numbers and what is the customer retention rate? A little bit about the governance and the board structure. It is a listed company, so we could have some concerns about corporate governance requirements, which we can see that it has the committees. Audit and risk committee is there, nominations committee is there, and remuneration committees is there. This their tasks are understandable, but the problem is that are these enough? There is nothing about sustainability or environmental responsibility. Okay. Uh, the two original founders, they are CEO and Chief Commercial and Marketing Officer. So here we have Chief Executive Officer and Commercial and Marketing Officer. These two positions are held by the chefs. I would be of a concern because I would think that the other chef should at least uh, be in charge of the operations. Now, chief operating officer, this would have been a suitable position, I would say, because you see, your knowledge and expertise and experience as a chef could be in the operations rather than in commercial and marketing areas. Well, that could be of a concern and tested in the paper as well. Okay, they have overall each holding 10% of the MC's market share, MC's shares, whereas remaining 80% of shares are owned by a wide range of investors. And again, they may or may not have complete control over the organization, depending upon how much weightage do the other investors give to these the directions of these two founders. The board structure comprises of NEDs, non-executive chair, a senior independent non-executive director, and three additional NEDs. Then we have CEO, CFO, operating officer, chief people's officer. Now, an important position that appears to be missing from my standpoint, their structure should have a chief technology officer or chief information officer or information technology officer, because we have putting a lot of our research of the recipes on the data analytics. So a concerned IT person, a dedicated IT team should also be there. Maybe they have a procedure under the CEO, but that has not been mentioned here, so that could also be a point of concern. Now, considering our supply chain management, the ingredient suppliers, this organization utilizes over 600 suppliers, a large number. And the positive sign is that they are predominantly island based. So we are, number one, supporting local community and tradition. Number two, our testing procedures will cost less because those are locally available. We can easily visit them, have our checks at their spot as well. And also because the fresh produce is involved in here, therefore we will have a lesser probability of food going bad during transportation. Then quality and sustainability, these are the key criteria here. Suppliers undergo detailed assessment, a good thing, preferring those with safety and quality certification. So those who are certified, those are preferred. So yes, we are focusing on that area. But remember, we are suppliers, we are trying to choose premium suppliers, and that will add up to our cost, because of their certification they will charge us higher. It encourages suppliers in biodiversity and sustainability. Again, our concern, even though we do that, but in the board structure we saw that there is no position to ensure these things. We use algorithms and predict recipes to order quickly. Less than 1%, a very important area, less than 1% of the purchase ingredients are wasted in the production. This is their claim, which could be asked to be tested during their procedures. And one point that we can say that yes, it could be because the use of robots in their packaging procedure, that could be a hint that least wastages are done over there. Edible unused ingredients are then donated to local charities, and for non-human consumption can be used for animal feed, and only inedible waste is sent to landfill or incineration. And that goes to our environmental protection. Because of all this, using good algorithms, we are able to predict our requirement, hence we purchase less, we have good procedures, and least amount is there for landfills and uh, incineration, because that will create less and less carbon footprint. Okay, storage. Long life ingredients, they are purchased in bulk to for cost effectiveness, and stored in a warehouse next to production factory. Now, next to production factory also tells us that our transportation cost will be lowered, and again, the carbon footprint due to transportation will also be lower. Fresh and chilled ingredients are delivered 24 to 48 hours before the needed to a temperature controlled area for short term storage before production. Okay, a risk is involved in there, that has to be maintained on a regular basis, and it will add up to your cost, because if that refrigerated area is for a certain period of time, for example at night time you turn it off and then you turn it on again, that will require more and more energy. So you have to continuously keep it at a steady temperature. Now, when we talk about when we talk about the operations, the packaging and procedures, these pictures could help you in understanding the concept. All the packaging are sourced from island based supplier, again a good sign, they are supporting local industry. Located 20 kilometers from the factory, again it is very near, and hence reduces the transportation cost. It features 100% recyclable cardboard chill boxes with reusable ice packs, and 100% recyclable durable outer boxes. So within the, for example, this is the box that will be used for the uh, items that need to be kept chilled, and ice packs are used in that, and these ice packs are reusable so that the customer can use it at their end whenever they want, wherever they want. For example, they're going out for a picnic, they could use that. So these are not a waste 100%. Okay, they collaborate closely with the supplier environmental friendly packaging solution. So that is also their concern for the, so you see, we are seeing that they are focusing on sustainability and environmental protection, but the position in the board, the absence of position in the board, that gives me a concern. Suppliers deliver fresh or chilled items pre-portioned. Okay, now you are depending on them, and they insist on minimal recyclable and biodegradable packaging from the suppliers as well. Now in this point you are actually depending on the suppliers to provide you those pre-portioned items according to your uh, need. That could be in the modular structure, and you're just packaging it. That could be of a concern, that again you still have to have the quality testing procedures and ensuring that the pre-portioned sections are according to the recipe. Any problem in this area could be a problem for you, not for the supplier, because the customer knows you, not your supplier. Meal kit box production operation from a single large production factory in Central Island. Okay, this features four separate production lines operating 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we can see that this is a continuous production and it could be providing to all other uh, meal kit suppliers. That is not something unique that you are doing. Production integrates robotics for selecting forming boxes. Okay, for selection or forming of boxes to make it ready, the robots are used, but human operatives for ingredient placement and final quality check, that is by the humans. There could be a lot of concerns in here as well, because if human beings are touching it, what are the hygiene concerns? Are they using the hygiene factor? Because you can link it up with the global contamination risks that we talked about earlier. The entire process from production starts to customer discharge normally no longer than 3 hours. Now they have put it in a way that it is good. We do not know the industry standards for now, but maybe in the paper you would be given the industry standard and you would have to compare it with the this 3 hours. Remember, this involves fresh items as well as frozen items, and these 3 hours could be of a concern if they get thawed during the or they get melted during the this packaging procedure. That could be of a high concern from hygiene standpoint. Then distribution, a delivery is handled by a third party. Again, your dependency on another party, go flow, which is again island based. Go flow vehicles are equipped with latest refrigeration technology to keep the items securely chilled. MC partners with Go Flow to optimize route planning for minimum CO2 emissions. Again, we see a lot of focus on our environmental friendliness. What are the risk profile? This is from the latest risk report. We have a lot of competition. We have discussed a lot about it. Highly competitive market. Grocery stores are jumping in. The restaurant, the grocery stores, the supermarkets. First of all, we have direct competition, and then indirect competition, and then the threats of the substitute, that is the heat and go producers. Subject to now regulatory risks are there. There are a lot of risks available because our working will continue only by the certification, and this certification is for 6 months only, and then again they have a rigorous testing. Customer attention and retention risk is also a problem for us, because there is increasing challenge due to intense competition, and customer retention industry is a wide challenge, because the customers have a number of suppliers available, solutions available to them, options available to them, so they can shift easily. Data and information require a very important area which we have not covered before. Now, using your algorithms, your websites, and your mobile apps, when you are taking customer data, there is a concern that their safety, the data safety and data protection are also of a concern. You must have a, for that I told you earlier that we do not see a position for the separate position for IT. That could be of a concern here. The evolving nature of attack techniques, cybersecurity is of a concern here. Anticipation or prevention is making it difficult. So we have a number of threats available, and maybe in the exam you would receive a news clipping or something like that which tells that recently there has been an attack, and what are you doing about that? What are your control procedures to secure the customer's data, and importantly financial data, from such attacks? Okay, now we are focusing on the data analytics. This shows us a decline in the proportion of single people. You see, from 60%, we are moving down to 50% over the years. And this is a steady decline. As far as couples, it is a fluctuation from 25 to 26, then down, and then up, and then down. So if we see an overall, this is in the same range, but with fluctuations. However, the shift is towards the families. It is continuously rising from 15 to 17 to 23 to 24 to 27 over the past few years. So this increase is showing us a trend. It may be because of our deliberate strategies. We are refocusing on the families, or our data is indicating that the families are more inclined towards buying these products. But the other concern is that why we are losing the single people in this area. This is an overall analysis of the data, the key performance information. These are available in the last 2 pages uh, of the document. I'm talking it in brief, and I'll give you my idea on the missing information, and finally the summary of it. Now, when we see at the absolute figures, it shows a good sign. But when we talk about the growth rates, generally those are either stagnant or not improving, which is actually of a concern. So when we see the year, this is first is for the example, revenue and revenue growth rate. You can see the increase in revenue, but the decrease, a continuous decrease in the revenue growth rate. Okay. Now, even though this is the concern, despite the global meal kit industry being predicted to grow from 25 billion to 75 billion in next decade, that is 3 times, we are not getting a chunk of it. That is of a main concern. Our declining growth rate suggests that it may not be effectively capitalizing on this area. And in the paper, we may have to find out the reasons. I'll give you some pointers as well. Okay, revenue per meal, there is another graph. It shows limited ability to increase prices, that the customers are opting for less expensive meal options. And we saw that market competitiveness is based on the pricing, which is a very important factor due to tough competition. Meals delivered graph confirms the slowing momentum of our operational activities. Active customers graph, all of these are in the pairs, shows a major concern as it indicates substantial slowdown in customer acquisition or retention. Average order value graph suggests that customers are not increasing their spending per order significantly. It may be continued but not increasing, either by ordering more expensive meal kits or adding more items. So whatever they are buying, they're continually buying that, and this is not a good trend. We have to expand on our customers and increase the orders that they will take from us. An annual order graph suggests that even if MC requires new customers, existing customers are not increasing their ordering frequency, which further contributes to the overall slowdown. So this is a point of concern for us. The missing information from my point of view is that it has not providing the profitability matrices. So we cannot focus actually on that. So there is no data on costs, gross profits, net profit, profit margin for MC, which I predict that will be available to you during the paper, and you may have to have some ratio analysis in that as well. Without profitability data, it is impossible to assess the true financial health and sustainability of MC, especially given the intense competition and challenges. So, highly likely that it will be available during the paper. Limited comparative benchmarking is there. While market share is provided, most graphs only show MC's internal performance. You see, we have only one graph to show the overall market growth rate, sales, but it does not give us detailed points for benchmarking. For example, it doesn't give us the freshies growth rate, average industry churn beyond general percentage, to truly understand MC's competitive position, whether it is slowing or the industry wide, or is it specific to MC. So this is a point of concern, and you could be tested on that in the paper. When we talk about overall situation, we see that it is growing in revenue and volumes, but growth rates are declining. Rising revenue per meal has partly offset slowdown in volume growth and supporting revenue expansion. The business appears to be reaching a more mature phase of growth where scaling further may require new strategies and innovations and expansion into the MEO market. Okay. Now you are using algorithms, but how unique are those? How effective are those? And the other industry competitors are also using websites and uh, mobiles mobile apps. This shows that they may also be using algorithms. So whether you have a uniqueness in that or not, or how you could develop that in the absence of a proper division for your, or the segmentation in your board structure to focus on that, that is again a point of concern. So the reason from my standpoint is the market maturity in Ireland, increasing competitive intensity, and limit the current business model. Our current business model is focusing only on the uh, through virtual networks. How are we going to expand it? With the, maybe a possibility could be we could look into opening our own outlets, if integration with the or support of the local departmental stores are not available. That could be an idea. So, the overall summary for today's discussion is that we see a competitively tough environment. The global market, though, is expanding, and those provide you with opportunities. But with your current declining growth rate, it is a lot of concern. Industry churn is high and intense competition, and the lack of profitability data in the pre-scene, it limits our discussion from that front. But we may be facing some underlying challenges in sustaining our growth and competitive position in the long term. So, with that, we have come to the conclusion of our pre-scene. I hope this would have been an effective session for you in understanding the basics and the overall analysis of the pre-scene that is given to you. If you have any questions or queries, you could approach us from Hamza Academy website or the Facebook page. We will also be uploading this on the YouTube, and you can contact us from there as well. I'm Muhammad Rizwan, and thank you very much for your time. And I hope and wish you all the best for your paper. And I wish for all of you to succeed in this attempt. Take care, good luck, and goodbye.